the imperative of the player experience. Harness the chaos.
Welcome back to SiGMA Europe, this time a virtual edition, and we're here with this mega panel. We're over 8 people to discuss the imperative of the player experience and how can we harness the chaos. And before we jump in, I would like the panel to introduce a bit themselves, tell us a bit more what you do, and specifically in the company, what's your role. Shall we start with Dario?
Absolutely. Thank you, EMAN. Good morning, everyone. I work for Akamai. Akamai is a technology provider, and we make sure that your app and your website are always up and running. So we make sure the availability it's 100%, and we make sure the performance and the security are always at 120%. So most of you are our clients, and we finally work with the gaming and gambling industry. So we're very happy to be here, part of this panel.
Thank you, Dario. And you are based in Italy, am I right? Okay.
That's correct. That's correct.
Thank you. And your colleague is here with us as well, Luca.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Luca Moglia. I work as a solution engineer in Akamai and really focus on helping customers to boost their digital experiences, optimizing the performance of website. And I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Luca. MENELAOS.
Hello, everybody. I'm MENELAOS LADOPOULOS. I work as a technical director for Vermantia. Vermantia is a company based in Athens, Greece, and we consider ourselves a leader in omni-channel content solutions. We offer bespoke data and picture content for live events each year. Recently, we acquired by Arena Racing Company, a UK-based company, and we have expanded our broadcast and technological capabilities worldwide. Happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Tommaso.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I am Tommaso Ferranti from Giocaonline. Giocaonline is a company based in Milan. We are a skill game supplier and a casino game supplier. And I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you. And thank you to Akamai.
Is it pure, just for the audience, purely online, land-based? What is
just online, and we are just, for the moment, we are working just in the Italian market.
Gotcha. Thank you. ANNALISA.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure being here today. My name is ANNALISA, and I work at Espresso Games as the international business manager. Espresso Games is a game provider that was founded in 2002 in London and then moved to Milan in Italy in 2017. Espresso Games provides its products worldwide with a special focus on regulated markets such as Italy, Spain, and Colombia. And I would say that since 2017, the Italian market represents more or less the 50% of our business.
Okay. And Andrea, maybe you can elaborate a bit.
I am Andrea Sereno. I am the CTO of Espresso Games. I work here for about 10 years. I actually follow up all the production from the creation of the engine of the game to the front end layer. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Just for the audience, 50% Italian market, am I right?
Yes.
And the rest is predominantly LATAM market.
Actually, it's international. Yeah, so it's
okay,
worldwide.
All over the world.
Yeah, but I just want to focus, to highlight our presence, our big presence in LATAM as well, especially in Colombia.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you, guys. We'll move on to Michele and Gabriele.
Hi all. I'm Michele Nodari. I'm a technical manager here in WorldMatch. I work in WorldMatch for 11 years, and we are located in Italy, north of Italy, Padua. And WorldMatch is a content game supplier. We operate in basically in all regulated markets from Europe, Italy to LATAM, and also in Asia. So basically we operate worldwide, and we produce game, basically slot machine, but also other casino games, table games, video poker, craps, and a lot of different games. And I'm supervising all the technical aspects from the development to the partnership with suppliers and also with the customer support. And near to me is Gabriele, which is the director, but he's presenting himself now.
Hi everybody, my name is Gabriele LORENZI. I've been working in WorldMatch for the last 13 years, and I'm in charge of the teams that develop all the games in WorldMatch.
Thank you, Gabriele. Last but not least, from Eurasian Games, we have Gabriele and Emanuele. Please introduce yourselves.
Nice to meet. Nice to be here. So we are brothers. We work here in Eurasian Gaming. This is a game provider that is acting worldwide. So we are since a couple of years in Italy, but we are also present mainly in Asia and Latin America in this moment. And I am the head mathematician, and my brother is I am the head of platform, and I follow up the integrations with clients and also the performance of our platform when dealing with players and all the other in the market. Yeah, and we also follow the production of the games and study player taste, let's say. So we perform math analysis also on, and statistics on player choices.
Thank you. Thank you. That brings us to the first introduction about the panel, an extremely interesting panel, illustrious careers. I've been hearing all these years with the same company, and I've noticed that despite all of us being based in the Mediterranean, some in Greece, some in Italy, the audience that you guys are targeting is very much international. It goes all the way west to the Latin American market and all the way east to the Asian market. And my obvious question is this: what kind of challenges, when it comes to latency, when it comes to so much more, do you guys encounter? Who wants to go first?
Well, let's say that, if I can start,
Please.
The main challenge I can see in the industry base is in the last period of time, a lot of merger and acquisition. So I think that the market is trying to find the right equilibrium, and because it's a market where we have a lot of competition, and for example, here we are all content providers, so it's not very easy to find the right place in the market, and that is why maybe we are all moving out of our countries and try to find and develop different markets. And in this operating worldwide, maybe another big challenge is to keep a proper brand, to keep a proper product, so not to lose your own identity, and perhaps try to find a good product that can work in different markets. With that I mean you cannot have a single product that goes out to the different markets, but you need to develop a good competence and know exactly the different cultures. So you have to work and to have people working in those markets. So you cannot just stay in your country, but you need to have someone, and you need to have a communication all the time with people in the different country where you are working in order to be able to deliver a good product. So
is that challenge? Are we talking about technical challenges, or does it go beyond?
Well, if I can say, is you have many different kind of challenge. It can be technical, it can be based on your products, but for example, everybody knows here that it's important to be able to deliver your game very quickly in any part of the world. So you need to have a good technical product, a good net, a good internet system. So
for the technical point of view, the issue is to be present and up and running 24/7 worldwide. So from the business point of view, we have to face and to join the customers in different countries and make good games for all of them, but without, as Gabriele said, losing our personality, our brand identity. And this is reflecting on the technical point of view. So we have to deliver our content to different countries with different possibilities. Africa has a very poor connectivity. Asia and LATAM are on the opposite side of the world. So we from Italy have to make partnership with Akamai, an example, that is helping us to deliver the same content from Italy to Asia and LATAM with the same latency, with the same quality of service. So this is both a technical challenge and a business one.
Okay, but explain it to me like a 6-year-old who doesn't understand much. I mean, out there we have CEOs who are not necessarily as technical as their company grows. But if there's an infrastructure issue, let's say in Africa, since you mentioned Africa, I mean, how can you solve the technical issues that one would face in targeting that market? How can a company like Akamai help your games in regions where the infrastructure is not as robust as, let's say, in Italy?
It's for me. May I answer? Or maybe
and it's for all.
I think Dario can help us.
No,
I see Dario jumping.
I can jump in now if you want, or we can ask for more challenges. So I reply all of them together if I can, or I pass over to Luca, which reply the one missing because he's much more technical and skilled than me. But for sure, the distribution that we have globally is helping many companies to actually get the content closer to the end user. So this is the reason why the CDN itself was invented 20-something years ago now from our CEO, which is actually also a math professor. So Emanuele, you will like him a lot. He works at the MIT in Boston. You know that for sure. And he was thinking, the internet is so complex. There are so many different autonomous systems, internet service provider, and the more the content is growing and is exponentially becoming complex, like video rich, image rich, how do we make sure that people distributed across the globe can have access to it in a smooth, in a quick way? Because as you will see later on, Luca will show us, there is a strong correlation between the availability and the performance, the speed, and actually conversion into business. So that's the essence of how Akamai was born. But please tell us more about challenges in general. And
more challenges.
So other of you guys can please add on top.
And beside this, of course, a content provider like WorldMatch or like other have to face with different kind of users that uses different kind of devices. So we have to produce content that are scaling from the smallest smartphone to the biggest screen, and providing the same quality, same graphical audio quality to the final user, and with the same user experience. An African player cannot wait 10 minutes to download a graphic that is in 4K for Italian or European or high-speed markets. So this is also a technical challenge for us in order to create contents that are scalable, that are that people around the world with every device and every kind of connection can use. Of course, with the support of infrastructure like Akamai or whatever.
Yeah. Anyone who hasn't jumped in yet? Challenges.
Another challenge is to produce a service, a product that then I'm speaking for the thinking to the regulated markets, for example. So a single product that should be efficient enough to be compliant with different markets that have different regulations. So the efficiency in fitting the regulated market is a challenge, because every place has its own rules on the regulated markets, and a single game cannot be a piece of stone that is suited only for a single country, let's say. Italy has its own law, Germany has its own law, and the same applies to Latin America and all the regulated places. So to be compliant, is a big effort to produce a game that then is quickly adaptive to the legal requirements of every country. I think this is another important point.
Mm-hmm.
Even the return to the player value can be very different between one country to another, and the request of the country can be very important to fit this game to the single market. For example, Asian prefer a game with an return to player value very high, while in LATAM the request is to have an return to player value very low. And you have to create the same game with the same user experience, but with two different return to player values.
Yeah, I'm not going to focus on the technical parts. I'm just going to say that I believe that one of the biggest challenges that this industry has been facing over the years is related to its reputation. I mean, despite most global markets being strictly regulated, this industry continues to be affected by this super strong prejudice that comes actually from all over the world. I mean, it begins from this mainstream opinion that affects with this prejudice across various institutions. We all know about them, starting with limitation by the banking sector and bringing consequences we're all aware of. I mean, ironically, like from my point of view, this prejudice could also be seen as a kind of an advantage for this industry. Let's just imagine what would happen if like top or major global technology players such as Microsoft or Apple would enter the sector. They would become the biggest operators, the biggest like competitors this industry has ever seen. So, I mean, of course, this is just to add a positive view to the biggest problem that we are all facing working in this industry. And regarding the challenges that our company is facing, considering our size, I would say that it's pretty obvious that one of like the biggest challenge for us is to be able to continue to compete with big operators and especially to stay innovative, because that's something that's, I think it's essential in this industry. Always come up with new ideas. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna. Anyone else on other challenges out there you'd like to highlight?
It is a fact that the world of betting has been changing during the past months, but now is on a quick recovery. Besides the growth of technology, which drives the industry trends, COVID-19 have led to the creation of a new landscape. The lack of real-life sporting events for players to bet on, operators have to think of new ways to hold their customers' attention and to provide them with fast-paced betting opportunities. So moving on from traditional sports to virtual and next-generation games, the industry has managed to minimize the losses experienced due to the pandemic. With all major leagues postponed or cancelled in the previous lockdown, we had to quickly adapt to this rapidly evolving landscape. So we have to offer solutions that could satisfy players during the new normal. While retail will always be retail for us, we shifted our focus to online oriented products. So delivered through our streaming solution, we offer complete betting offering that could rise up to our customer needs. So as online betting keeps thriving, we provide our partners with our services with the sole purpose to help them grow efficiently in this new dynamic environment.
Okay, thank you for that comment. Anyone else before we pass on to Dario for his feedback?
From Giocaonline, we are not providing our games foreign markets. We are just providing in Italy. But we faced with a challenge that was to understand the regulation of skill games. Skill games are multiplayer games as poker, for example. And every time we try to understand how we can provide our games, our skill games in Spain or Germany or other place, we have the problem to find a regulation for this kind of game. We have not, this is one of our biggest problem and challenge, trying to export our skill games. While I think this would be not a problem for casino games because are regulated, of course, but for skill games will be a very big challenge to get the aspect of regulation where you can get in with this kind of games, skill games. It's not, for example, in Spain, we tried 3 years ago, but we cannot find a way to have a regulation for this kind of game. So a challenge will be to try to get a regulation for these games. How? With communication, with working on institution. I don't know how. We will try, but this is a very big challenge for this kind of games. For casino games, challenge, of course, are all the challenge our as the roundtable says before.
Thank you, Tommaso. Dario, a barrage of challenges.
There is a lot to talk about, but the good thing is that I see everyone is taking seriously the fact that regulation are very quickly changing and are posing opportunities and threat. Some of the Italian companies I know are opening in US. This is a great opportunity with the changing regulation in the Americas, for example. And it's something that we always been paying attention to. And that's why in the last few years, we finally opened and broke that stigma that Annalisa was mentioning before towards this sector. And now we can operate in this sector. And we are actually becoming quickly a leader here too, because our technology that was born to handle huge live events like sport events or the elections. It quickly became a technology that it's easily used for gaming and for software download, because this is what's driving internet nowadays. We recently had a peak of almost 200 terabit of traffic per second. And this was not because of live streaming or of the Trump non-elections. It was because Halo and another couple of games like Fortnite were releasing software upgrade. So this is becoming what moves the majority of data online. And so I can really feel close to your challenge. And I think that this is going to be interesting for you, because after Luca will tell you how actually the challenge regarding the performance are strictly related to the possible churn or retention of your customers. Here you can see 53% of the user that are on mobile will not stay longer than 3 seconds waiting for your game or your web page to load. And this is something that we see because if you see the slide before, our internet platform, our edge server platform, it's covering the entire world. We have servers everywhere, 300,000 of them in most of the operators. And we see around 30% of global internet traffic in certain locations. So we have a lot of visibility of what's happening online. And thanks to this analysis, we can come up with numbers that make sense, like this, and that are a little bit scary, or like this. 34% of user will switch to a competitor's app if your app does not deliver enough performance. This can have a direct impact on your business. Hence, we are pretty happy to say that with the few latest trial we have done in this industry, the performance have been much better, and the revenue that the company could generate have been much better too. And for this, with LUCA, we prepare a couple of examples. We took some clients that has been onboarded in the last few months that were not using Akamai before, and we're going to show you how actually simply putting Akamai in front of wherever your infrastructure does today would dramatically improve the performance in terms of availability and speed and security. Luca, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Dario. Thanks for introducing Akamai and how poor performances can influence negatively the business of digital companies. What I would like to show you here is not really the technology of Akamai that, believe me, is incredible and very powerful, but I would like to provide you visibility about some project that we did in this vertical and how performances of the website and mobile experience is boosted. So the first example is really here. We did this project with a very great team, and here we monitored the performance of 3 single pages with a synthetic testing tool that in this case, for the sake of clarity, was Rigor. As you can see here, we set up many probes across Europe to monitor the speed of the website. And when we put Akamai, it's quite clear how we speed up the digital journeys of the users. More in detail, the website has been more than 50% faster. And you see the data of the mean of the page load time that is really the average of many tests we did in several days of monitoring. Another example is always with synthetic monitoring, and this time with Catchpoint, that is another tool if compared to Rigor. And with their 4 probes, they have in several data centers in Milan, and you see the detail at the top of this slide. As you can see here, we also had good results, having Akamai almost 20% faster if compared to the previous setup. Finally, when we do post-integration value confirmation to our clients, we know that synthetic monitoring is not enough. So we use a setup to set up several testing methodologies to prove the Akamai benefits. In this case, we used our mPulse RAM that is a monitor that is monitoring real user performances, real user journeys on your website and digital properties. In this case, the real data from the real users told us that we did a great setup. You see here that 50 percentile of the page load. So given, for example, 100 users, the user that is in the middle for page load speed time is almost 50% faster if compared to the previous setup. So of course, we are constantly monitoring several KPIs, including the time to interact, very important when we speak about gambling, or the largest contentful paint, with also many others. Dario, now back to you.
Thank you, Luca. So why we're telling you that speed it's so important? This is just the distribution of session of an average website. And over the time, you can see the majority are on the left, and the conversion rate, the green line, is also closer to the users that have faster performance. This is tied to revenue. If we try to go a little bit faster on the website, and this is real data that we can analyze on your website too, if you want to use this tool. We bought this company. You can see this company was called mPulse. Now it's a product of Akamai. You can see that the just 200 millisecond improvement of speed will generate for this company 2 million more and 0.2% conversion. Okay, let's say that the revenue is very personal, but the conversion rate, this is out of big data that we can analyze, and we can analyze each single session of your customers, of your users. You see how directly correlated is this. The more the website is faster, the more the conversion rate improves. So it is pretty straightforward, and that's why I think our technology is perfect for the gaming and gambling industry, and this is why we're eager to understand who is good, and especially who is good in Europe and is competing globally and is becoming a leader into this industry, and that's why we're here. Actually, now I have a question for you, which is related to this. How do you measure nowadays this correlation between the performance and the retention rate or the churn rate? Do you see that what I saw, that what we see on other clients, it works for you too? Is it something you are aware of? Yeah, it's a difficult question.
Manuela?
Yes, we see it, like, because we produce our own game server, and we can see how deep is the impact of the server response on the monthly rate of revenue. So a game that a response rate that is more than, we try to stay below 100 milliseconds in 150 milliseconds when players are spinning to have a response. But sometimes due to internet, the API calls with the seamless have a delay, and this delay is causing user experience, bad user experience. And we can say that when the spin pass from 100 milliseconds to 350 milliseconds, essentially the players starts complaining. If we go even more, they start calling and say what's going wrong. In fact, in this sense, I have even a question for Luca. Do this Akamai system produce this 50% increase in performances also in Asia?
Yeah, let's say that, as you can see here, we monitored mostly Europe, because the client were interested in Europe. But let me say that when we have geos that are very far away from where the origin is, we can have also, let's say, a better improvement. Then, of course, it's really difficult to have data, but of course, we see that when the geo is very far away from the origin, we can improve even further the performances.
Above the 50%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, with us, we obviously have also the whole spectrum of gaming watching. We have affiliates, we have operators, and I can't help but think about the holistic benefits of having such technology implemented. Because if the player experience is going to improve, that means that the sites are going to rank even better on Google. That means that you're going to get an even better SEO experience, which means in the long run, you're going to benefit even more from player acquisition. So I'm not sure if this is data that's being analyzed, because it's more of a wide angle and SEO takes time to build. But for sure, something like this would have a very positive impact on your SEO weeks and months and years down the line. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're very prepared, Iman. Yeah, you know that you know this business, because actually it's true. Google is added last year ranking based on speed and performance as well. So especially for publishers, for example, we really see that the search engine results are improving, whether the speed and the image optimization is faster. For whoever has a website here, you can just use a free tool. It's called Speed Page Test. Luca, correct me if I'm wrong. And you can just see how your website and your app is ranking. And it does a quick analysis on your image compression, your time to first byte, and et cetera, et cetera. It's pretty smooth. But anyway, we can talk to all of you one by one and go deeply into geek stuff. But now I want to keep a very high level, so maybe we can move forward on the next business question.
Sure. And I mean, I had a question for the gentlemen from WorldMatch and EURASIAN about the player churn. What is the impact of player churn, or the lack of, on the entire business operation?
Yes, may I start? Basically, the player churn has a deep impact over the business because not from the technical point of view, but from the business one. If a player is not happy with our games, with our contents, of course, I think in less than 3 seconds, Luca said before, he's going to another competitor platform or another competitor website. So for us, of course, in one side, we have to keep the latency less possible, providing content that is usable from different different kind of devices. But what we are looking for is to face the player churn with a brand retention. So if a player is not happy with a game because of their TP level is too high, or for any other reason, if that player doesn't go away to another competitor game, but stay in, let's say, in WorldMatch, playing a different game for WorldMatch, for us is not a victory, but a less a failure, because if the player plays with games of WorldMatch, if he churns from one game, but he plays with another game in WorldMatch portfolio, for the business point of view, for us is not a churn. But what Dario and Luca said before is we can see that it's true. If the experience of the player is not fine, is not good, is going to go away. And probably since there are a lot of suppliers and a lot of games for each supplier, probably it will go away to another to a competitor content and game. So we have to really take care of the retention on one side and the churn to the other one.
Thank you. Gabriele or Emanuele from EURASIAN?
On our side, yes, we measure the churn rate of players, and let's say that we try to solve this problem from the beginning, in the sense that we analyze the market before going in, and we try to produce games that are directly suited for player taste. And with this suited, I mean that the player is aware of what he likes, in some sense. I'm speaking about math here, in the sense that there are in the different markets, different, let's say, kind of players that want to have an experience. This experience, I'm speaking, for example, an aggressive player. So we design games in such a way that we can cover all typology of players, but in such a way that he can choose in our portfolio the games that fits their taste. But what is true is that there is a common denominator, and the service has to be optimal, because even if the player likes our bonus structure, the math behind the high volatility or the low volatility, it will stop playing if the spin is not fast enough, if the internet service is not good enough. So
Yes,
oh, please.
There's a fact that there are different kind of players, and probably different countries has different kind of players, high rollers or shark players in Asia, and or more player that are looking for entertainment and not big winnings. But the common denominator is that the game must be reliable to all of them. And from a higher level, what is a challenge for us and for our companies is to try to keep the players, so aim to their attention, also not for only with the game, with the content, but also with let's say marketing action, promotion, and so on. And this is why, example, we are creating promotion specific for a country. In LATAM, there's some kind of promotion. In Asia, there are different promotion. Lot of small prizes. In Italy, Italian players are looking for the jackpot, the Enalotto jackpot. So they just want to have one prize, but with a big amount. In Asia, they prefer to have 1-2 euros, but a lot of them. So different countries, different players need different strategies from the technical aspect, from the business aspect, from the marketing one.
Yeah, we totally agree. And actually, on this, so it's not only the game, the bonuses that are contained, it's also the way in which they can access the game, because nowadays there is, okay, the ordinary game and you just play. But then one needs to see, but what do they really like of this game, for example? They like only the bonus part. So, for example, we produced a direct access to the bonus, maybe more expensive, but for the players that just want it. And then there are even other challenges, like nowadays everything is social. So, for example, one thing is the promotion, another thing is, tournaments. So we are implementing tournaments, for example, to just present the game in such a way in which even not only big spenders can afford it, but they can get attracted by its features on other levels. So, for example, you propose a tournament, and this is another solution, but all of them, if not supported by a super strong platform, are going to fail.
Yeah.
This is why
I'd like to hear from Annalisa and Tommaso about the churn rate. How do you actually measure churn rate or retention rate in comparison to either the app or the website? How do you measure the correlation of each performance?
Okay, we do not rely to external companies to measure these parameters, but we have an internal system, and we consider some simple parameters like number of users who log into our game, or average number of bets for a game session, and monitoring these parameters in relation to other external variables. For example, the positioning of the game within the provider, that it is very important for us. We are able to obtain significant data for the chunk rate of our games. We have seen that performance are very important in this kind of relation. And I think that there are two aspects regarding performance that can be taken in consideration. The loading speed of the game, which is both from a technical point of view, the technical choices you have made, such as putting your game into a physical host or on a cloud host, or using a good CDN to deliver your content. But as content provider, we have another challenge to face with, and this is the the assets optimization. When we create the game, we have to optimize the assets that compose the game and choose the best technology to achieve the goal we have made. I can make an example. When we have to create a character animation, for example, we can use animation sequences to create it. But this is very has a lot of weight during the loading phase of the game. While if you use a skeleton like spine or other similar technology, you can achieve the same goal with a lighter weight on the loading phase. Mm-hmm. Once you have verified that the game is designed in the correct way, you can optimize your game in another way. I mean, you can compress your image. You can choose in shorter movies or low quality movies. You can loading sounds with a lower bit rate, or in general reducing or deleting some visual effects during the game. But this can create a problem. Below a certain level, no more entertainment is created. So you create a light and performing game, but this is not fun for the player. And this will create a problem in terms of chunk rate. Once the game is loaded, another problem can be the game performance, not involving the network, but involving the device characteristics. As we have said before, we have to put our games in different market with different target user, and we cannot assume that the device used by the final user is the latest model of mobile phone. So we constantly struggle between, from one side, the desire to make games that are more immersive and closer to what is developed in video games world, for example, and the other side, and on the other side, the risk that the churn rate will rise due to low performance. For example, unpleasant lag or not smoothing animation. So I think that we have to create games with the right balance between the performance and the entertainment we create.
I remember that this is also the way you compete on the market. Oh, sorry, man. I remember our conversation that the graphics and the visual aspect is, I mean, Espresso Games is a very Italian company. You want to make beautiful games. This makes sense, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyone else would like to comment on the churn?
On the churn rate and retention rate. So even us, we have internal data. We do not outsource this kind of analysis. And we look at how many spins, how many sessions, how many spins per session, and how many times a single player or a group of players comes back in different temporal, in different times. For example, in 1 week, in 1 month, or even in more than 1 month. We try to understand how he likes to come back, and how and when. And we can understand if a player is enjoying one of our products, looking, for example, how many times he play a new games. We launch, for example, 2 days ago, we launched a new game, and we are looking at how a single player or a group of players comes back after 1 hour, after 2 hours. We have a lot of statistics on this kind of data. And I think that with this kind of data, we can understand the churn rate and the retention rate. And as told before, it's very important to have a very good balance between technical issues and issues or matters and quality. You have to have a high-level entertainment product, but you also have to look at your performance. You cannot obviously have a 4K video introduction your game, and that players have to wait 5 minutes just for your intro. So you have to have a good balance. A goal would be a challenge. Very important, I think, would be to have different kind of assets for a single game. And if you have data on players, you can, for example, provide a low-level quality product, or if you know he have a good connection, have a high-quality product. You can have, for example, 3 or 4 ways of providing content. So if you know a player have a good connection, you have to know why, because you have already know this player. You can provide, for example, very high quality image or animation. And this will be a very, very nice goal, I think, for all of us. Just not to have a preset standard that you have to say, okay, this is my point of balance between performance and quality. Have a multiple choice on this kind of balance, a different kind of balance would be a very nice goal, I think.
You have to evaluate cost and benefits, because if you maintain 3 or 4 versions of the same game, you have a lot of work to do when you have to update the assets. And so you have to evaluate cost and benefits.
Yes, it depends of kind of product you are working on, because I know that you also have table games and casino game and slot. I think that table games are a long-term investment.
Yes.
Not as a slot that maybe have a life of 2 years, or if you have a success slot, you have maybe 5 years of lifetime. But on, for example, on table games, you can do something of this because the benefits are higher for sure.
Thank you. And Michele or Gabriele, a word match. What's your take on all that's being said?
Yes, I think as a content provider, like our colleagues, we use more or less the same tools. In WorldMatch, we try to integrate, or what we do is we integrate our own tools, so develop inside here with tool that we can get in the market in order to have a big overview of what's going on, because as we all agree, have data information about what the players are doing with our game, how long they are playing, when they start to open the game, in which time of the day, how long they take to upload or download the games. They're all very important information, because that can help us, of course, to develop a better product. And as working in different parts of the world, the feedback we have from the players is different. So we need to know exactly what's going on in Europe, in Italy, in Asia, in Latin America, everywhere where we are working. So have these tools for us is important in order to understand what's going on with the players and the games, and to be able to deliver at the end a better product. The game that can work in Europe maybe is not working in Latin America, so we need to understand exactly how long they play, which game they prefer to play with. So this is very important. Besides this, as I had a chance to say before, it's a continuous communication with the different operators, because they know their player, so they can help us to make a better product. Maybe different operator can have different players, and so we go back to a specific RTP, specific volatility, and all this kind of problem that we have been discussing during the day. So tools to understand what is going on with the games are a must. You must have those tools, and you must understand exactly what they are telling you. So it's
before we move on to other aspects, other facets, I'd like to loop in MENELAOS on the technical aspect. what can you tell us about what we have been discussing regarding the churn, retention? Give us your technical view.
As Gabriele told us earlier, I believe that these tools are now a must. You know, these tools are required where we see that the focus in our businesses has been shifted to online, and we need those tools in order to be able to, let's say, to survive and to move ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Dario, I don't know if Akamai would like to summarize a bit on what's been said. A lot of information.
Yeah, thank you, man. Actually, thank you everyone for sharing your stories. We always learn from you. Unfortunately, this hour went away very quickly. Otherwise, I would have so many more interesting questions, because I know that there is a lot of knowledge in this virtual room. You guys are, I mean, from the mathematicians of the Eurasian games to very skilled technology people. So I'm amazed. I just really wanted to thank you for your time. And I know that it's a difficult industry. I know that you try to do the maximum you can to customize the experience. This is what I can see. To the technology, from the technology point of view to the graphic and visual aspects, you know, like you guys were telling me to put more fruits in games that go to South America, or put more ninja or other entertaining dragoon in Asia, because this creates more interaction. I mean, it's amazing how you can study in details the customer experience. So my takeaway is that this market is very mature, it's very competitive. So you understand how important is to also customize the technology behind what you do. So I guess, and I hope we will talk more together. And I think that everyone that is watching also grabbed some useful information, and will contact you to start doing business together after seeing how professional you are. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for being with us, sharing all this knowledge. Thank you, Dario and Akamai, for being such gracious hosts for this mega panel. Look, I just have one website where I promote my shows, and even I am tempted on looking into this service even further. So I can only imagine what the gaming industry that's really dependent on all of this is thinking. I'm sure it has been extremely interesting for them, and I look forward to see you at the next show, hopefully face to face. Thanks again for being with us, guys.